Many of you are probably in the same boat right now. You're holding altcoins, you're deep underwater, and you just don't know what to do. And when things get this ugly, it's very easy to just switch off and ignore your portfolio. But the big question in today's video is it still worth holding or hodling your altcoin positions? Today we are going to talk about a simple way to answer this question for yourself. So if you do enjoy the video, if it is helpful, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more content like this. So let's just make one thing very clear here. The old rules of crypto and the 4-year cycles don't really seem to apply in today's market. Simply put, Bitcoin would have its halving, we would then see Bitcoin continue to rally, and then eventually altcoins would have their altcoin season. And although it wasn't massively convincing, Bitcoin did actually make a new all-time high in Q4, which means the cycles somewhat still work for Bitcoin, but it definitely is not the same story for altcoins. With governments getting involved and institutional money flowing in through ETFs, it's fair to say that the dynamics of the market has been rewritten. All of these fundamental differences mean that the market is very unpredictable these days, which on one hand you could argue that this makes holding or hodling the best approach. If you can't time the market, it's much easier to just hold on to your positions like many people do with the stock market. In this scenario, you just ride the ups and downs, ultimately waiting for those higher prices. But here is the critical difference. With stocks, you can hold a fundamentally solid company that is continuing to grow. You see the numbers get better every quarter, every year, and this gives you the conviction to keep holding, knowing that they are a legitimate business. And with that, typically comes price appreciation, which is what everybody is looking for. However, with altcoins, it is slightly different. Of course, the big difference is that 90% of altcoins out there don't actually have any revenue coming in or even a working product. Never mind the fact that the altcoin market is currently very player versus player or PvP, meaning that capital just rotates from one narrative, coin or sector to another without seeing any real new capital flowing into the market. And even if money was to flow into the altcoin market, you have to look at the saturation. There are so many altcoins out there now, many of them fixing the same problem, building the same product, or even on the other side, looking at meme coins that also dilute the amount of money going into altcoins. This is why the old strategy of just buying a bunch of altcoins and holding on to them, waiting for them to do a 2, 5, 10x or even more isn't really a strategy these days. And it's even less effective with the current market conditions right now because the altcoin season index is currently sat at around 30, and for an official altcoin season we have to see it at 75, meaning we are such a long way off. And the truth is, most altcoins are probably down around 90% from their previous all-time highs, which leads me into your positions and the good old conviction test. But because of this environment for altcoins during this cycle, this is exactly why I shared my portfolio just a couple of weeks ago to explain how it's more of a survival portfolio than it is a thriving portfolio. And what I mean by this is having such a large percent, 60-70% plus, in what we call the blue chips, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your Solana, Chainlink. They are the 4 that take up the highest amount of my holdings, because being all in on a mid to low cap altcoin these days just doesn't feel right. It isn't the right environment for that type of risk. Having 10, 20, 30% in altcoins depending on your risk appetite is probably the best way moving forward. And the reason for this is because unfortunately you might have found the next best thing, a really solid project, a great product generating revenue, but if it doesn't get the attention because of saturation, it may never see the price appreciation for the token that you believe as an investor it deserves. So to wrap this one up, is it still a smart move to be holding altcoins? The simple answer is yes, if you have immense conviction in that project. The days of blindly holding holding 20 different altcoins and waiting for a massive payday are unfortunately behind us. So you have to consolidate your portfolio and cut the altcoin positions that you no longer have max conviction in. The sad truth is that most altcoins that are down 90% right now are never going to make a recovery because of the speed of the industry, how quickly people move on to the new shiny altcoin, and the saturation. The money just cannot bring all boats up with it. But I do want to hear from you guys, so let me know down below what you plan to do with your altcoin bags. I know it's not easy, but we have to make the best decisions for our portfolios. And like I said at the beginning of the video, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. But in the meantime, please do trade safe, please do invest safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.